the Digital Babble with your host, Flipper. Colorful commentary on your photography. Seen on fingerlakes1.com.
Hey everybody, it's the Digital Babble right here on fingerlakes1.com, fingerlakes1.tv, and seen on YouTube. I'm Flipper. I am your host for this evening. Almost every evening that we do the Digital Babble. We're on every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. We talk about photography, Photoshop techniques, photography techniques, just about anything that comes along. And the reason why it's called the Babble is because I spent about an hour. Tonight might be a little bit short because I have other plans I have to go take care of, but it's definitely a show that can be beneficial, educational, and that's what we try to make it. And you can go check out our website at tdbny.com, and you can go check out past shows, any writings that we do, examples if we get those up, and pretty much that's the Babble. That's the Digital Babble. So, and we love your questions. We love when you talk to us. We love when we have interaction with you. So the best way to interact with the Digital Babble is through email. So if you do give us an email, please make sure to give us an email at thedigitalbabble@gmail.com. You can also go find our YouTube channel that way as well, the Digital Babble, and go check out the episodes. They're about an hour long. I know that, and that's one of the things that I want to ask everybody. I am hoping we have some interaction on this. The question I want to pose to everybody watching the show, any of the fans of the show, anybody that's watching for the first time, we're talking about changing the format a little bit of this show into shorter, more manageable clips, I think. In other words, instead of doing a talk show like this, we're going to do like small little 5-minute how-tos this, how-tos that. And then when we get a guest or we get something more elaborate that we can get on, we'll get on like this and have an hour show about it. So what do you think of that idea? I'd love to hear your opinion. Please give me your opinion at thedigitalbabble@gmail.com. Now, previous weeks, we've talked many previous weeks about photography and how we take photos and why we take photos and the artistic values and, different things about composition and how to take fast shutter and what's aperture and how to take pet portraits and how to do a senior portrait. So I got thinking to myself, I was like, self, what would be a good show idea, since we've kind of come at the end of a series almost of portraits and, doing the camera basics. I said, well, the one thing we haven't talked about is output. And output basically meaning what you're going to do with your photos after you take them. After you take them, after you Photoshop them, after what is the final medium or media that you're going to put it on? Is it going to be on CD and you're just going to go grab it once in a while just for memory photos? Is it an artistic print, like saying a nice waterfall shot or maybe a sunrise lake shot? What are you going to do with these prints? And that's, or what are you going to do with these photos? Are you going to output it to what? So that is what is going to be the focus of this show, starting right now, is that we're going to talk about the different ways that we can output photos for ourselves, for others, and different presentation packages, and what we can do in Photoshop to make that transition from digital or scanned in or film into some type of nice artwork that fits properly in a frame, or you can have easily framed up, and some different ideas. So stick around for that, because a lot of that is great ideas. I think I really have some great ideas, because I've been researching it for the last 2 days, going, well, geez, output. What would you output it to? I know I like photo books. I know somebody else like prints. I also like framed prints. So I thought we would just have a little discussion. So I'm just going to talk to myself. I'm literally going to babble on about this for the next 15 minutes probably, or maybe 20, and just talk about the different outputs and give some examples of why I would output something a certain way. So hopefully it gives you ideas of how you want to present your photos. And this goes for your iPhone photos and your Android photos. It goes for any photo that you deem important enough to output and put on paper, or output and put in a book, or output and put on Facebook. So what are the different types of outputs that we can easily identify? Well, we could always do the digital output, which would mean like, something like Pinterest or Facebook or some other online service. I'm thinking like Picasa, the Yahoo profiles, Google Plus, any social media. So the digital output, taking the digital file from your digital camera, whether it's iPhone, point and shoot, or DSLR, and then moving it to your computer, then moving it to your social media. Or you might miss that middle step if your phone or your camera or whatever is directly connected to social media. So you got this whole workflow of take the picture and put it on the computer, process it, and move it up to Facebook. So that's going to be my example for digital media. What are some really neat things that you can do with Facebook or Pinterest? Because I really like Pinterest for photos, because it's really the concept of scrapbooking online. You can put a little blurb about what the photo is, why you took it, tell a little bit of a story, but you don't have a lot of room to work with. And you post these things up and let people kind of check out your scrapbook. It's kind of like the digital social media way of sharing your scrapbook. Instead of having it in a book, you got it online. So digital output makes things cheaper. And I'll say, how do I want to say this? It's cheaper in the sense that you just need to have an internet connection in order to do it. You don't have film costs, you don't have output costs, printing costs, you don't have framing costs, you don't have cropping costs or retouching costs or any of that stuff. It's literally just, hey, let's throw it up here, tell a little story why I took it. This revolution happened probably in the year 1998, when the first digital cameras started coming on the scene and they were becoming more and more popular with people. They got away from actually printing so much at that time, and I think it was probably year 2002, 2003, where a lot of online services started coming up with, hey, we'll let you store your photos up here, but they had to be a small size, and they were only the online version only, and we take no responsibility for copyright. And in 2002, that became a pretty big fad. It really didn't catch on until the cell phone era of 2009, 2010, 2011, where everybody's got their little phablets or phones or cameras or whatever they got, where everybody had a lot more apt to have digital photos and take a lot of photos. Now we're into a generation where everything can be online. We can do Pinterest and do an online scrapbook. We can do Facebook and just have online albums, and people can search for my face in everybody's online albums and see what Phil was up to. Hey, what's up, man? Oh, look, there's Flipper drinking his rum and cokes or whatever. Whatever. Oh, here's Flipper playing with his doll Woody. It really doesn't matter, I guess, but the social media thing added an element of identity, and it added an element of searchability, and it added another element of cost. It now put into the people's hands a cost-effective way to not only share their photos, but give them the ability to also search on photos and be seen publicly with a lot less overhead than traditional photographers. I'm still kind of a traditionalist. I still like outputting to print. I do like print. And the reason why I like print is because it gives me a sense of creation. Just putting it into the computer, I don't know, something psychologically just doesn't connect to me that I created that. It's not until I see it on print or framed up and on the wall or in a book that I feel that I've created something. And I think that's really where I draw the line. It's nice to put it online because everybody can search on it and comment about it, and hey, look, I went to the volleyball tournament this last weekend. Look at everybody playing volleyball. Hey, oh, here's Bobby, spiking the ball. Whatever. It just comes down to this magical connection. I think online is a disconnect for most people. I think really the connection where I get my most satisfaction out of it is usually when I take something, whether I do it with my phone, whether I do it with my point and shoot, whether I do it with my SLRs, is when I finally see something created in the real world. And everybody's like, wow, online's a real world. Da, 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 da. You're absolutely right. It is a real world, but it's electrons. It's light on a screen. Yes, you're creating, and you can create a lot of neat art that way. And there's lots of great art out there. I think the problem that I have is yeah, I see that and I'm numb to it. But once I see it in print, I really connect to the piece. And I think that's what I'm trying to get at is connecting to the piece, connecting to the art, connecting to the emotion, why I took it, connecting to the story. And here's a great example. A lot of artists show their stuff online just once. And I think this would be great for anybody in the community. And please share this message. Get out there, go to an art show, go to a gallery. I don't care where it is. If you're in Rochester, Syracuse, Waterloo, Seneca Falls, Romulus, I don't care. Go to an art show. I don't care if it's a photographer show, a painting show. I don't care. Just go to a gallery and just take and absorb it and just walk in and see that these people not only created in their mind, created then on the computer or created on canvas or whatever, and then now it's in real world. I can look at it, I can touch it, I can feel it. On the computer, if Facebook all of a sudden blows up tomorrow, all your photos are gone. They're gone, right? From Facebook, that media is gone. Just poof, just by turning off a light switch. That's the disconnect. That's the disconnect right there. Is you can turn the light switch off on that, where you actually physically have to destroy a print. You have to physically destroy a framed print or something of that nature. And I think that's where I have my connection. When I can touch it, feel it, look at it in this light, look at it in this other light, and just stare into the picture and become connected with it. That's what I like. And that's what output's all about, is finding your audience and connecting to it. Whether your audience is just you, or it's your family, or it's a bunch of people. Finding your audience and connecting with them and getting that sense of, wow, this person created this from nothingness. You know, it was in his mind or her mind, and poof, there it is. And I think that's really the connection here. So online stuff, hey, great, it's wonderful, it's cheap, it's great to get some ideas. Hey, how do I do on this? Hey, great, good. You know, I really think now coming the other direction here, and this is where I like to be, is when I see something I really, really like, and I'm trying to think of something. I actually like this one shot I did, and I didn't bring it down on the show, but it's hanging up over on my wall. I did this really neat panoramic at night of downtown Seneca Falls, right on the corner where Century 21 is. So if you ever get a chance, stop down there. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's just a neat intersection with 1, 2, 3, 4, and a swoop. So five intersections maybe. So it's kind of like a 5 points kind of thing, like in Rochester. And I'm standing on one of the points, and I literally did a panoramic, a 1x4 or a 1x3 at night, long exposure. And then I made it a panorama and did a little bit of photoshopping, not much, just maybe a little toning. And it just really came out neat, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it, and it impressed me so much that I had to print it. And I printed it, I framed it, put it behind glass. It's now been up on my wall for the last 5 years, 4 years, whatever, however long it's been. It's one of my favorite prints. I look at it, and it just takes me someplace else. I get to feel like I made something, and that's the beauty of prints. That is the beauty of prints. That's the ability to touch it in your hands and look into the photo and just let yourself go. Sometimes you can do the same thing online, but I seem to be really able to do it more with the print sitting there. One of my other favorite photos was this macro shot of the inside of a rose. It's just fold after fold after fold of petals, and just a little tiny piece in the middle there, and it just, the fluidity and the just the color, the gradients, the lighting, The dramatic lighting just kind of takes me away. So that's another one I have hanging up on my wall because I enjoy looking at it. And when I walk by it and I see it, I get a sense of accomplishment. I feel good. Hey, I did that. I also feel like, wow, that's really neat the way everything kind of played out. And, almost dreamy, like inspires you to dream and to think beyond just the here and now. That's why I like prints. So, talking a little bit more about prints and stuff, one of my favorite things to do is this right here, which is collage prints. Now, you can do a collage based on a position on a wall, so then you kind of frame up like this collage. You have two small pictures at the bottom center, one main picture that connects everybody together, a top picture to kind of crown it off. You got four other print pictures to kind of associate different subjects and different poses with the main subject in the middle. And then the farthest pictures are to balance it out and to give you a shape. And here you have this wonderful shape on a wall made up of a bunch of different prints. And a lot of people don't realize that when they come by a wall like this and they look, they start feeling the story. They start seeing the story of what's important to this person or to this family or to this house. And I think that's one of the biggest things with prints is that you can really have some neat decor for not too expensive. You don't have to print big. You don't have to print expensive. You don't have to frame expensive. But just print. Just get something out and something that you really want to keep and make it something that you really want to keep and just enjoy it. Don't just print just for the sake of printing because that's just wasteful. But something like this is something that'll follow you throughout every house that you own. I really do feel like, we as people sometimes shift in social norms to places where I don't feel comfortable anymore. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't feel comfortable in seeing people that never print a single photo over the kids. Okay, I have two small kids. I don't have two small kids, but saying I had two small kids, and I don't print a single photo of them. I have them all on my thumb drive. Well, that's wonderful. You got them on the thumb drive, but what was important to you? What was that really important shot? Was it the pass at football? Hey, I got it. Was it, taking belly dancing lessons? I won't belly dance for you. I'm sorry. But what was it? What moment in time was really important where you're just like, I want that up on my wall. And that's what I want you to reconnect with. That's what I want you to reconnect with. I feel excited about it. I want to see people excited about it because it's a connection. It's something, it connects this digital world to the real world, and it makes this happy medium where it inspires things. I mean, I've never gone into a person's house that had photos and not looked at some of their photos and had it spark something in me and go, wow, they really like their son. Or wow, hey, did your son play baseball? What year did he graduate? Maybe I know him. Oh, hey, that's what I mean. It just starts so many different things. It's such a, what is the word I'm looking for? There's a specific word that I'm looking for and I can't think of it, but that's kind of what I'm getting at. So frame prints, one of my favorite. Wall collages is another one of my favorites. So this is a wall collage. Just framing up a print too. I mean, you could take, let's see, I got to find frame print here. Boom, there. Even taking something like this. Maybe you took this with your iPhone and you blew it up to 10 by 10 and then you had somebody frame it. You don't even have to mat it. You can just frame it like this with a cheap frame. You don't have to spend a fortune. Something like this gives you that window to, it's literally a window to your imagination. It's literally, it's a way to take you away from your current situation, your current reality into a different reality, the artist's reality, or maybe the reality that you had at another time. And that's what this is all about. And that's what I love about like this framed up shot. If you put this up on a wall, picture this up on a wall, no matting. It looks like a window to some other place. It looks like you could walk right into it and just be there amongst the mist, amongst the fog and the mountains and the tree there and the rocky bank. Oh, I would love to be there. And that's what I'm saying. It kind of takes me away I hope it takes you away too. And I think that's one thing I think a lot of people lack in their lives sometimes. I'm not trying to sound preachy here, but I guess I'm going to for a minute. I think a lot of people, especially when you talk to them about, hey, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, yeah, I went to the bar, shot pool, and then I had some pictures done with my friends. Hey, that's all good. That's all good. Did any of those pictures come out really good? Yeah, I have this one that I'd love to, put up on the wall. Go print it. Go print it. Instead, they put it on their Facebook. Next thing you know, Facebook goes poof, and they're gone. What happened to my photos? Oh, my God. The physical realm. I'm getting preachy. I know I am. I'm sorry, but I really feel strongly about this is the fact that you make a connection. And you make a connection on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff, but this is so much different. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. So let's keep moving forward. Maybe I can describe it once we see some things. Prints. How many different prints can you have? You can have so many different prints. There are so many different sizes. You can print small little 3x5s. You can print big 20x30s. Heck, I even saw the other day, I think it's Meridian Pro that's offering 90 by 130 or something of that nature. It's a huge print. It's huge, 90 inches by 130. It takes up a whole wall. It's like a whole wall print. It's $100. But if that's what you were looking for and that's the print that you want, print it. Put it up someplace. Make people go, ooh, what is that? But you can have all sorts of prints. And prints are good. I like prints. Especially when they're done right and they're good prints. What was I going to say? Printing something for 8x10. Good size. 11x14. Good size. Even 16x20 is good size. Much bigger than that, you start getting in the poster size. Start taking up a lot of wall room. If you have a lot of wall room, good for you. Do it up. You don't have a lot of wall room? Print something smaller. And that's the beauty of prints. That's the beauty of prints. You can print anything you want, any size you want. Like here, you got 4x6, a 5x7, an 8x10, and a couple wallets. Pardon me, I'm getting parched. Here's another way to print. You digitally print your photo with a matting and a frame and your signature and whatever that is down at the bottom, and then the title of the print. And this is such a great photo project too, right here. You pick a theme, you go out and shoot it, you Photoshop it, make it all like this, and make it for output. And maybe this is an 11x14 print. You print a bunch of these 11x14s, paste them to some mat board or something of that nature, and put them into a what are they called? They're called it's a portfolio, but there's a specific name because they use like ties. But you could do this and then carry this around with you once in a while and be like, hey, look what I did. Or take it down to the lake and be like, hey, look, whatever. Take it to a photo show. Go to a photo show. But like doing that's an amazing photo project to connect you back to art, connect you back with what you do with your photos. It brings to life what you're doing and makes it from, hey, it's a snapshot to, wow, I wish I was there. So wish I was there. So let's see. So you could do different size prints like this. You could do this type of printing where you print it off digitally like this and put it on some mat board and put it in a book of some sort or a portfolio. You could even do mat board printing. You can print on canvas. You can print on metal now. I mean, it's amazing what you can print on nowadays. How am I doing on time? One of my favorites is I think this is kind of neat too. Collect all your unwanted photos, all your digital photos off of Facebook, off of wherever that are yours. They're yours alone. They're not somebody else's. They got to be yours. And you put them all together in a folder, and you go to this online service called collageprints.org, I think it is. And you can do something like this. Here's Steve Jobs of Apple. They took photos, all the product photos of every product and promotional material that they had at Apple, pumped it into this program, and then took and said, here's our main photo. And this is a collage print. Now you're going to have to print this pretty large to see the small, little, tiny photos. So this would be great for like a 20 by 30 poster to hang up someplace. But you can do the same thing with your photo. You say you got a portrait of your father, but then you have all these other photos of your father doing different things and his military service and maybe his cooking at the restaurant and second, third job, or maybe with his favorite bike, or jumping in the pool, or whatever. You got maybe a couple hundred photos or 1,000 photos that you could put into a folder, and then you have one beautiful portrait of him that you really like. You like the pose, you like the smile, and that's the way you want to remember him. You could shove them all in this folder, pump it out to this online service, and get something like this back, where it's all these photos that then merge into Mr. Stephen Jobs, or your father for that matter. And this is a collage print that has been recent since probably 2008, 2009, where software can actually take the different tonal values of a photo and then kind of put it into the picture to draw a master photo. And what a great way to display that. What a great way to connect to it. I mean, everything related to Dad, and it's here, and here's Dad's poster. Some people might want that. I know I would want one of my dad. Put it someplace, so I guess it would just come to, it brings that connection back, the physical reality of being able to touch it, see it, put it someplace, brings you connected back to whatever the subject is, whatever the piece is. Another thing that I really like doing, everybody loves scrapbooking. I've heard it for like 2-3 weeks, and I think that's what sparked the show. Was everybody's like, oh, I just want you to take some photos so I can scrapbook them. Okay. Why don't you just take them with your iPhone then? Come to find out, I realized why. These aren't small scrapbooks. They're huge scrapbooks. They're like, 12 by 18 scrapbooks. Okay. Difference in quality. Got it. That's why I was taking the photos. But here's the thing. What can you do with your stuff that you're taking photos of? What a great photo project that is. You go to your favorite photo printing place, such as Shutterfly or MPix or Meridian Pro, if you're part of them, and then take a subject. I think this is the biggest thing. You take a subject and then you pick pictures that tell that story, and you tell a story. And here's my example for that. As soon as I find the button to click on, I think it's this one. So like here, you look at all these different books that you can make. And you have a wedding book there over on the right and up in the upper left. You've got vacation books there, miles traveled, and whatever the other one. You got a baby book there. You got our little soccer stars over on the right. And then you got this vacation book in the front. What an amazing idea. Let's do a photo book. Tell a story. Write some text. Put some storyline to it. Put it up on the shelf. Pull it out when you want to remember about it. Be like, oh, wow, we went to Asia. Oh, check it out. Or people come over, hey, look what we did, Instead of just describing it, you can show them. You can take them there with real prints. You can just put them in the position. And I think that's one thing we lose with digital, just looking at it on a computer screen versus looking at it as a print. As a print, I don't know, for some reason in my mind, and call me crazy, it really connects me more with the subject than seeing it digitally. I've recently, a good example of this, in my mind, a good example is this. I recently started subscribing to a couple of different magazines electronically. Amazing subjects. One was Scientific America. I love what they write. And then the other one was Outdoor Photo Pro, because I like reading the reviews of cameras and camera equipment and stuff, because they, of course, get a lot more equipment to review than I would. So I love to see what's out there, and some of the different things that you can buy to do different things. Like this last month. Oh my God, this last month they now have a lens package that connects to it's a iPhone 5S case that then has a screw-in adapter or clip-on adapter for a telephoto converter lens that also gives you the ability to put on a polarizer and something else on your iPhone. Now, it makes it completely gaudy. You can't carry it by itself. It doesn't carry like a normal phone after that. But it gives you the ability to add optics to your optic list iPhones and Androids. So that being said, now you get a little bit more quality, you get a little more control, you get a little more something. You get a little more something something. And that's kind of neat too, that phones are coming that way. But here it is digital. You know, hey, look what I did. Yeah. I don't usually connect with people's iPhones very well. I look at the pictures and I'm like, yeah, oh, okay, look at that. That's kind of neat, you know. But you blow that up to like 11 by 14, make it a print, put it up on the wall and say, this was important to me. This was important to me. And all of a sudden, it transforms the story, it transforms the print, it transforms the photo into something more than just a photo. It transforms it into a talking piece. It transforms it into a transportation, like a train. It takes you there. It puts you there. It just makes it real. You know, and I don't know why I keep coming back to that analogy, but I really do feel like if you really think about it, when you go home and you look, or you're looking at this show, sometimes I think it doesn't feel real on the show. I see myself do my own show, and I listen to, if I close my eyes and just listen to the audio, I'm perfectly good with it. I start watching what I do on screen and stuff, and sometimes I get disconnected. I'm like, oh, yeah, look what he's doing. That's kind of neat with the slides and stuff, but you know, it's digital stuff, you know, it's not really real, you know. For some reason that part of my brain does that. Maybe not everybody's, but mine does. And I'm sure there's more people out there that do the same thing. But you put a print in front of me, you hand me a 11 by 14 print and say, Flipper, look at this and tell me what you think. And all of a sudden it's like you get sucked into this world or the picture and you go, wow, look what this person took. Look where they were. Oh, look, what is that? What is that thing floating in the water? Is that Loch Ness? Oh, no, Discovery Channel. We're finding Loch Ness again. But, you know, it's so surreal. It's so transient to get sucked into a piece. You know, even if it's a portrait or even if it's just a snapshot that all of a sudden really has some very aesthetic values. You know, if you love it, you like it, print it, make it big, make it a little bit bigger, not too much bigger, but make it bigger. You know, it just brings it to life, I think. Photo book number 2, you could always do, you know, some really nice, simple, hey, this is where we were, here's like a title of the book. And then you print these books. They're $25 for like, you know, 20 pages, and you can fit like 7 pictures or up to 6 pictures on a page. And, you know, there's so much you could do with it, but, you know, you can make just 1 picture a page, 4 pictures a page. You can tell stories. There's so much you can do with these books. Go check out Shutterfly.com. Go check out MPix. Go check out Meridian Pro. And just look at what they have to offer. There's so many different options. You can have you know, pictures and pictures. You can have a background light picture between 2 pages. You can have a lay flat book. You can have a paperback. You can have hardcover. You can have custom printed hardcover. There's so many different options. And once you print this out and you tell your story, don't just let it sit on the shelf. Share it with people. You know, say you go on vacation. When you get back, you spend a few hours, make a photo book, tell the story. Oh, here we are enjoying our time in Venice. Here we are, and Flipper fell off the boat and into the canal. Here we are after the emergency services hauled his fat butt out. You know, I mean, you could really have something to talk about, something to spark conversation, something that we lack in this modern day age of texting and internet use, you know. I miss, you know what I really miss? I gotta say, I really gotta get to an art gallery sometime soon, because I really want to just take and just have discussion about somebody's piece. Even if it's just to go, wow, I don't like that, but boy, that really does look like it took a lot of work, you know, or man, that really takes you someplace. Wow, I feel like I should be in The Hobbit, or whatever, you know, just to let the brain just relax and let the imagination go and just find a new world, find something else. So now that I've said about all the different ways I like to output pictures, and there's other ways. You can do photo gifts, you can do prints, you can do photo books, you can do framed up stuff, you can do collages and posters and You can do keychains and, player cards, playing cards or player cards, like, sports player card size. You could do placemats. You could do mouse pads. You can print on metal slabs. So, it's aluminum slab and it's a piece of metal, maybe, I don't know, 8 by 10, 11 by 14. And then it has a hanger in the back of it and it looks like it floats right off the wall. So it's just like kind of, instead of being right against the wall, it's kind of floating out here on the wall. What amazing things we can print on metal now. Oh my God, that's amazing. Just amazes me. You can cut out a special shape and cut out on metal. Amazing. And they last quite a long time. So it's just amazing. So pick your output, find something to print, go print it. Go tell a story. So now, what do we do in Photoshop to get ready for prints? There's so many things we can do. We can correct color. We can correct. Let's get back to this. So, what do we do in Photoshop to get ready for printing? Well, we might correct the color. We might correct sharpness. We might over sharpen it because we know when we print it, it's going to get a little bit softer. We might crop it to the proper size that we're printing it. We might add some text or some special effect to it. We might make a collage ourselves. Maybe we'll cut somebody out of this picture and put them in this picture with everybody else. I mean, there's so many possibilities with Photoshop what to do, but here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you 3 basic pictures. Actually, maybe I'll only give you 1 and just kind of do some really, I'm going to just talk through it and be like, this, I'm going to output this because I want to. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get ready for this by reviewing my picture. So here's my picture, my portrait of Jakey, my little guy. I don't have any kids, but boy, this guy, I don't have any kids of my own, and this little guy is like my kid. He's a good kitty. He likes to pose for the camera. And he's just an amazing photogenic cat, and he's calm, and he doesn't cause too much of a fuss when you're taking his picture, doesn't get skittish, doesn't run from it. What a great cat, okay? And here's the thing, okay? In the original, I was a little off on the color. I didn't like the brightness. I didn't like the sharpness because the whiskers were a little soft. The green back here was a little too cool. I wanted it a little warmer. I really wanted to bring out his eyes. I also wanted to put another glimmer in his eye over here. I didn't get to the glimmer part, but I did get most of the everything else. And what we ended up with was the same image because evidently I did not edit it this one. Okay, so we'll go right into Photoshop and we'll start editing. So I want to bring some different things in. I want to warm it up a little bit. And this is really where it all comes out to be. Photoshop, what are you doing this for? Are you putting it online or are you doing it for print? You kind of make that decision as you go, but it doesn't have to be right this second. But I'm going to tell you right now, I want to print this and I want to make it an 8 by 10. I want it to be, actually I'll do 11 by 14. I'll crop it. I will change the vibrance and the hue a little bit and I'll get it ready and I'll over sharpen it so that we can output it to print. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Those are the things that we're going to do. So first off, I'm going to do a hue and saturation adjustment. I'm going to move it a little bit warmer. You can see as I move here, he changes color. I got to go back to 0, and I'm just going to move it a couple, 3 towards red. I'm going to oversaturate it just a little bit, maybe up to 20. No, maybe a little less. 10. 10's good. Bring it back just a touch. 6 is too much. Probably 5, 4, 3. I don't want to be too far off the original color. I just want to just warm them up just a touch. So I like that. That's pretty good. That's about the color I want. Now I'm going to do another adjustment layer because I don't like the tonal quality of it. I really want the brightness and contrast is just not where I want it. So I'm going to do a level. So I'm going to go down to the little, under the layers palette. I'm going to go down to the little half moon here. Grab a levels. Do the levels piece, which I just did. Now I have 2 there, so I'm going to get rid of 1. So I do a levels, and I open that up, and I'm like, okay, this is my levels, this is my histogram. What do I really want to do? I want to lighten up the darks just a touch, and then I want to darken the contrast to bring it right in where I want it. Now look how sharp he's coming out now. I'm starting to lose that left eye of his, or right side of the eye, but not too bad. I like that. That's pretty good. All right, cool. All right, so now that I've corrected the tonal contrast and so on and so forth, I want to do, there's one edit I really want to do. I want to fix that eye. That eye is bugging the crap out of me. So I'm going to sit here, I'm going to go Control-Alt-Shift-E and get me a clone stamp of everything up to this point. And that is how you do, like, hey, I'm at this point, let me take my edits and finalize them in one layer. Control-Alt-Shift-E, boom, does it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to do like another layer. I'm going to make another layer. I'm just going to take a little bit of white paint. I'm just going to paint on here with a small brush, a little whiteness, and I'm just going to kind of do this right here, follow the line right about there. So that looks about right. Now what I want to do is I want to turn down the opacity just a touch. Well, that's almost right. And then what I want to do is I want to blur that layer just a touch as well. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to Gaussian blur it. Not that much. Let's bring it back here to 0. A little more. A little more. See how I'm softening it? Every step I get a little more until I get about the consistency I'm really looking for. And I'm probably thinking right around 5 is going to do good. I don't have it opaque enough. I want to bring it up back just a touch more because I don't want it that bright, but I do want it kind of soft. Kind of like the light kind of hit him. It almost looks right. I think with a little more work, I could probably paint it in a lot better, but we don't have enough time, so I'm just going to I'm going to let it be right about there. Right around 70%, I'm good with it. All right, so another clone stamp of the edit that we just did. So Control-Alt-Shift-E, boom. There it is now. I'm going to make a copy of this layer. So now I have 2 layers of the same thing, and what I'm going to do is use the top layer to sharpen it. I'm going to go up and I'm going to click the top layer. I'm going to go up to filter. I'm going to go up to other, high pass, and I'm going to over sharpen this. Now, under sharpening is probably going to, or regular sharpening is going to be about 3 to 5. I'm going to over sharpen around 7 or 8. I'm probably going to go about 7. Notice you can really see the details in Jakey, the fur, the seats in the back. I want that for print because when I get to printing, a little over sharpening will go a long way, and you don't want to do too much. It's, a little dab will do you, but you want it sharp enough so when you finally print it at the enlarged size, whatever size that is, it still looks sharp. Where it looked sharp on screen, it's going to look sharp in your print. So now we have this high pass filter here. It's a grayscale. You see the edges. It's kind of like a find edges kind of thing. I'm going to change the blend mode right here from normal, and we're going to drop it down to a soft light. And you're going to see that the photo's sharper. Now I'll show you the difference. Here's without it. Notice it's a little dull. Here's with the sharpening. If you can't see it, let me zoom in here real quick and I'll show you. Whoops, if I can get there. Just watch his eyes. Boom. Whoops, boom. There's without, there's with. There's without, there's with. It brings sharpness, mid-tone contrast between tones, really pops the color a little bit, really sharpens it up. Now when we print this, when we back off and we look at it here or here or here or here, it's going to be sharp no matter where we look at it once we print it. All right, Control-Alt-Shift-D again. I got another stamp of my thing, my work here. And what I want to do is I want to crop it for 8x10. So I'm going to grab the crop tool here over on the left. I'm going to pick 8x10 up here. I'm going to put it for 300 DPI because the resolution at 300 DPI or 300 pixels per inch will give us a good resolution for a print. Typically speaking, 180 to 300 is generally what you can get with standard photo prints, and they work pretty well. I'm going to take it, I'm going to draw my box in here. I'm going to put my PowerPoints. As you can see, it draws the rule of thirds. I'm going to shrink this up ever so slightly so I can get my PowerPoint right on his eye, like so. Maybe a little bit more north, just a touch. There's my picture. So I press enter. Now we have a 300 DPI, automatically change the resolution, automatically change the crop. It's all set to go. This is ready to be saved and take to the printers to print for 8x10 at 300 DPI. Boom, done. That's it. So then we can do our file save as. We'll save it as a JPEG because that's the easiest way to transport it. So I'm not going to save over the old one at this point, but you can name it here. When you hit, save, it'll ask you what quality of a JPEG. The higher the quality, the better. But don't go all the way to 12. You want to be like 10, because the scale is 0 to 12, and really 10 is more than adequate. And really, by the end of the day, there you go. It's good. Okay? Now, what was I going to say? So, you're saved, you're done. Now, you put this on a thumb drive. So, now you put this on a thumb drive, you go down to your favorite printer, and you print it off, and you get your physical print, and then you figure out what you're going to do next with it. Are you going to hang it on the wall by itself? Are you going to put it in a frame? What are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with Jakey. I'm going to go take it down, I'm going to get it printed, and then I'm going to go buy an 8x10 frame from, like, Walmart, or maybe I'll go down to the Sherry's Bears and have her frame it up real nice with some nice decorative stuff. I don't know. I don't know yet exactly what my final output is, but you could do anything you want. Go to Michael's. Michael's is a great place to pick up some cheap small frames that won't break the bank, that will also give you the ability to start putting pictures up and not be like, oh, I really probably shouldn't have framed that picture. Geez, I really don't like that picture that much. You don't like it? Take it down, take the picture out, put something new in it. Go shred the old one or put it in a scrapbook. It's up to you. That's this week's show. I'm glad. I want to thank everybody who does watch religiously and, you know, kind of check it out. If this is the first time you're checking out the Digital Babble, this is the Digital Babble. We're on every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Again, I'd like to pose a question to all the listeners, all our loyal listeners, and just listeners in general. Please send me an email, thedigitalbabble@gmail.com. Let me know if you think we should change the format a little bit from a talk show like this, like you just heard, into shorter, YouTube clips that are basically like, hey, we're going to talk about side lighting, and then do this whole 5-minute thing where you see me trying to take a picture, and then as I snap pictures and change the model or whatever I'm working with, you get to see me talking about it, and then snapshots of every step along the way. So hopefully it gives you a little bit of inspiration of how to handle different shots out in the public. So if you like that idea, give me a shout out at thedigitalbabble@gmail.com and let me know what you think. And if you like the show, tell me that you like the show. Or if you don't like the show, tell me you don't like the show. It's fine. Where was I? We're on every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. fingerlakes1.com, fingerlakes1.tv. I am your host, Flipper. I'm a photographer. I'm a computer guy. I'm also on the weekends. Go check out techtalklive.com, or not techtalklive.com, ttlny.com. You can go learn about computers or ask questions or listen to us talk about what's going on in the computer industry. And that's this week's show here for the Digital Babble. I'm Flipper. I'm out of here. And as I say every week, I will catch you on the flip side.
A Flipside Studio production. It's the Digital Babble. Tune in every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on fingerlakes1.com. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter.